Hi, my name's Kat, and I am going to show you how not to draw. This is ClipStudio Paint. A lot of what I'm doing can be done in Photoshop for my rich friends and Gimp for my poor friends. So let's get to it. I like to use a big old canvas, but do what you do. So let's get to it. I'm going to set my pen to 5 for now. I like the mapping pen for sketching and lining. I'll explain to that later on. So I am going to make a new folder and toss this transparent layer in there and start my sketch. Now I'm going to make a chibi anthro. So if you don't like anthros, back on out. Alright, so for a chibi, I do a big round, that sucks, a big round head. Circle enough, right? My eraser's too small. That's good. Do the median. She's kind of looking over there a little bit. 2 over there. There we go. And I know some people put the latitude in the middle and just do 1, but I don't. And that is because it confuses me, like you would not believe. I can't seem to get it in a good spot today. There. Yeah. So we're going to zoom on in, or at least I am. I don't do much chiseling with chibis. They got a big round head, and that's about it. I give them a little arc right around where the eye is going to go, and then the chin shape. And then that's basically it. And then just a generic loop thing for where the eyes are gonna go. I don't like those. I could make that wider. Doesn't matter if it comes up a little bit, but I don't like that it did. There we go. I know this is taking forever. Bear with me. I'm nervous. Don't let them smell the fear. Okay. And then pop in her little nose. Basic triangle shape. And since this is going to be a chibi, I like keeping the eyes relatively anime. And her eye shape is just a slant like that. Little under U. And it's about level. And then she has curvy triangle eyebrows. I'm very finicky about my eyebrow shapes, especially with her. Even though I'm going to erase the eyes before I color them, you'll see why when I get to that part. I still like to etch them in for my sake because it somehow helps me with posing. You're welcome to just blow it off completely if you don't care. But since I'm showing you what I do, that's why they're here. And, give her a kind of a wide smile. And then kind of give her a little tooth. Alright, so we got her face going on. Give her a little loop for her ear. Not much to the ear, really. And the far ear. That came out too much. And then I'm going to etch in her hairline, but the hair is actually going to be done on another layer later. I just do this so that I can make sure her forehead is right. I mean, I know she's a chibi, but the cat has a widow's peak. And give her the median. And there's her face. Alright, so Chibi's got like a little neck. Not like that, though. So have it come down yay long. Bring the other one down. That's too stiff. I like a little arc in my neck. Alright. And then we're gonna do her chest, sans the shoulders for now. Just her complete bust. Just to make sure everything measures out right. Since she's at an angle, that side would be shorter. It might be a little too high. There we go. Actually, I could probably bring that in more. Yeah, that looks right. Bloop, bloop, bloop. I like to make noises, so... And then little necklines. That would be one painful collarbone. Okay, so she's just gonna have a generic standing pose. I don't really like doing those, but for the sake of the video and simplicity, I'm just gonna do that. So even though Kat's kind of a thick person, I always start them thinner because I'm doing like a frame, and then I add the weight as I add more body. And yeah, I just like add a square-like shape here. You just etch that in. And then do your median line. She's at like a 3/4 angle, so this side's going to be smaller. And then we're going to add in her little groin lines. Chibis have such weird anatomy. Give her a belly button just for helping plot where her tail goes, because I like to line it up with the belly button. Now we're doing her hips, which are kind of going to be their own unit in the preliminary sketch. Like a bean shape. No, not that far out. Maybe I should start on the smaller side. Yeah. I make a lot of mistakes along the way. So, you are in for a treat. And you know, they don't come out perfect, but that's okay. Like I said, this is how not to draw. But if you learn anything from me, then I guess I can go away happy. Alright, so we have her basic torso, her head, her hips. They could be a little... Well, she's chibi. Anywho. Now I will do her legs. I like doing their arms last when they're just in a generic standing pose. Couldn't tell you why. And her legs are like an ovular, nothing kind of a shape. Make sure they're the same length, because generic standing pose. She wouldn't have a thigh gap. Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with thigh gaps in your characters, just Cat doesn't have one. Cat is big. I might do one for Flicky, because he's a much thinner character, and male anatomy, so... And then her calf. A little bit of lump. I don't like that shape. Sometimes I do my sketches by hand, but occasionally, randomly, I like doing them on the PC. It depends on what I'm doing. For more detailed or just, I don't know. I get into moods, I guess you could say. Alright, so I'm gonna do little rounded lumps off of her V ankles. Make sure they line up. I think that one could be a little, yeah. Nah. I don't really like leaving that there, but I like that foot better. And this leg is more forward, so I guess it makes sense that this foot would be more out. And then another lump right in front of that one, because her foot is forward facing. And then this foot, same thing. They're kind of pointed at each other. And then I'll detail in the toes when I line it. I've always done that. Her legs look a little slim to me. I can thicken those a little bit. Just a little. And then I even make corrections when I'm lining it. Like I see things that I would have rather had done in the sketch, and I don't know. I just get ideas as I go along, I guess. So, there's her basic standing pose. Now, let's give her some weight. I start with the breasts because that helps me line it up better. Kind of line it up with her chest there. Give her a little V right here. Give me an idea of where to end everything. And then bring out the far one. And then the inner one. She's kind of stacked because she's thick. Alright, got those in there. Now we're going to add her weight. Which can get annoying sometimes because I don't want her to look like shapes, just random lumpy shapes, but erase some of those so it doesn't get confusing later, because it will. Bring that around a little bit. These might disappear when I do the shirt. It really depends, I mean, on how it hangs and everything. Anyway, let's do her arms finally. So this, I like to do a loop and another loop like that. And then we're going to bring her arm out about yay far for the bicep. Again, she's a thick lady, so she gets thick arms. And then gonna leave her arm just out. Right, yeah. And then I like to make the hand just yeah. I'm really bad at hands, so if I can avoid doing all the digits, I will. That does not look right. You'd think with how often I draw her that I would have figured out hands by now, but no. Nope. 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 It's just the bane of my existence. People have given me so much advice on what to do, and I just, for the life of me, I just can't get it. So if you're better at hands than me, you can just skip ahead. because I am floundering here. In fact, I'm just going to speed ahead if this takes too much longer. Sometimes I do like a trapezoid, and then I guess I'll do an open palm. Maybe that'll look more right. And when I do all the digits, I like to do the thumb and the pinky first. Just because it helps me line up the rest of the hand. I couldn't tell you if that's a good idea, but it's my idea. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. Like I said, people have given me so much advice, such good advice. But I do hands a little bit better by hand, but not by a whole lot. So when I do commissions, I will usually draw them by hand so that they come out the best that I can possibly do it. I can do everything else just about the same for the most part. But you know. Alright, let me erase some of that. See how that looks zoomed out. Okay, so that's actually a little small, which I'm kind of glad for, so I can, when things like that happen, instead of having to redraw that, we can select it, go up to Edit, go down to Transform, Free Transform. I know this can be done in Gimp and Photoshop. It's been a while since I used either, so I couldn't tell you exactly what those tools are called. But we'll just reshape it. Tell it OK. Deselect. I mean, it's not lined up perfect anymore, but I can kind of fudge it a little bit. And then when we line it and go over it with the close and whatever, it'll fix itself, kind of. And then I guess I'll do a similar pose with this arm. I don't like hiding the hands anymore. I feel like if I draw them enough, maybe one day I will get good at them. I mean, I've drawn her thousands of times, but her, my other characters, and they all have hands. But, you know. And I don't feel like drawing this hand again. I spent way too much time on it. So, I am going to copy it, paste it, drag it over, rotate. No, I knew that. Do I need to rotate it? No. Okay, so it's good. But it created a new layer, so I'm going to go ahead and merge that down. Alright, so her form is done. Hands still look a little small to me, I don't know. She's chibi, they should have big hands, right? This time I'm just going to do scale and rotate. And pull that in. Oh, whoops. Pull that in. You gotta make sure you have your mover thing selected, not just your selector, otherwise it'll move the selection around. And then do it again over here. it's hard with chibis because they have such big heads and the hand's supposed to, like, be a certain size in relation to your head. So it's entirely up to you. I did not save this. Okay, so make your folder, name it whatever you want. I like to save it in the native format, which is ClipStudio format for this, just until it's done for layer information reasons and keeps everything the right resolution. So anyway, the frame is done. And so it's saved. Go back to my pen. Now I'm actually going to drop the opacity. This is temporary, just so that I can see what I'm doing in other layers. I like to do her tail in another layer just because of how obnoxious it can get because of how big and fluffy it is. And it can get in the way, and if I don't like how it looks, I can erase it or move it around. If I like the way it looks, I just don't quite like the positioning. So I try to do the median first for the tail. It's just a basic real basic pose. And I line it up with the belly button. And I add my floof to it when I line her. So, okay, that's acceptable. So erase what is not needed because it'll get in the way. And then I'm just going to shut that layer off for now with the eyeball. And you see I added a new layer again. This layer is going to be her hair. Now Kat has really long hair. And I'm going to, I'll do it symmetrical this time. So, some artists will tell you to like do the outer shape and work your way in. I have no idea how to do that. Mine never come out right when I try. I don't know if it's because of how long I like to draw hair, or if it's just my inability to understand it or what, but in any case, I like to feather it in just like everything else. And these are just her bangs. The rest of her hair is much longer. And she has kind of uneven hair, split ends and whatever. I don't like covering her eyes too much. I mean, I'm one of those artists that line the eyes no matter what the hair's doing. But I didn't used to be, but I don't know. I grew to kind of like doing it. I actually don't even like drawing straight hair that much. I prefer drawing Flicky because he has curly hair. But I like coloring Kat. She's overall easier to make, despite her obnoxiously long hair. Flicky's just harder to color because his markings is just additional work. And he has his long ears, which make it annoying to figure out how to get everything in the picture. But anyway, so I got her bangs in. Gonna highlight the part, and then that did not come out good. Kind of there we go. Have her hair tell itself that it is tied into pigtails. And she has pretty thin hair too, which is a double-edged sword for drawing. Makes it hard to line, but easy to color. So, I don't know, I guess everything has its challenges. But that's part of the fun, right? And this is all Rasta layers, and this is just a basic pen tool. It's called the mapping pen. I like it because it's thinner than most other pens. And I like how sharp the ends are when I'm done making a line. Other pens aren't quite as pointy at the end. And I don't know if GIMP and Photoshop have the mapping pen, but I do know that they have settings to make their pens pointier. So if you do like this pen, there are ways to get a very similar effect in whatever you use. So you're not limited. I used to use GIMP and Photoshop. I used to do mouse work in GIMP. In Photoshop, I was kind of new to using a tablet, so I did a lot of things by mouse there, and then slowly migrated to the tablet. It wasn't until Clip did I do everything with the tablet. Anyway, the hair's done, and this is another layer I'm going to turn off for now. Going to make a new layer, and this is for her clothes. Save it. And she's going to be wearing a long sleeve shirt. Now, I like my sleeves very long. Like, yeah. And do the folds. Now this shirt, it clings, but it's breathable. See what I mean? Get all your folds in there. I also like my shirts kind of long. No crop tops for me. Alright. you do? Oh. Alright, basic shirt done. I'll do a Tool logo for the shirt because I love that band. But I'll do that closer to the line art phase. But yeah, that's the basic shirt. Save it. I save religiously, or at least I try to. I'm gonna give her tight pants, and I'm not gonna give them too much detail in the sketch or line art phase, and I will tell you why. Because I'm gonna do a lot of that during the color phase, which will be its own video later. Probably do that later in the week. I mean, this is basically going to be it for the pants. And the shirt's just basically going to have the logo. So. Pants are tight. Little knee. Alright. So, now that everything is here, I'm going to bring the opacity back up and turn everything back on. And see, if I did everything on one layer, if I didn't like certain aspects, erasing it would have, been a total mess. And I don't like erasing things that I want to keep, so I highly recommend doing things in layers. I am, however, going to crop this because I don't need the rest of the canvas. That's why I like doing a big canvas. I don't know how much room I'm going to need exactly, and so she's all cropped up, she's all drawn up. So she is good to go, and I'm going to stop here.